So this is a trip report, a composite trip report. The ark apparently was taken by the Levites out of Jerusalem, up the Nile, to Elephantine Island, which in those days was the boundary between Upper and Lower Egypt, and it was the capital of Egypt. That's where Pharaoh Necho would have had his base of operations, at Elephantine Island. And fortified capital, located there about 630 BC, stayed there till about 430 BC, 2 centuries. It was the early advanced outpost of Egypt, southernmost border town, fortified installation, serving as the first dynasty fortress. Its military importance was significant during the 25th dynasty, which is Pharaoh Necho's dynasty. The temple to Yad-Heh-Vav served Jewish colony prior to the Persian occupations. And this is archaeologically confirmed. You can find references to it in the Elephantine official guidebook by the German Institute of Archaeology in Cairo, 1998, was where we confirmed that. We actually went there, the old Cataract Hotel, which is so famous in writings and so forth. This is the Nile at that region. This is Elephantine Island. And there's extensive archaeological excavations there which confirm that there was a cadre of Levites there in the 6th and 7th century BC. And apparently the tabernacle was put in operation there. Okay, so we go from Elephantine Island up the Nile to Lake Tana. By now you're deeply into Ethiopian territory, and it remained at Tanakerkus Island for 800 years. So we decided to go there. And up the Nile. They still use boats made of bulrushes that Isaiah talks about in Isaiah 18. And kind of fun. And there are hippos in that water, which are dangerous. You don't want to go near the hippos. But there's Tanakerkus Island as we approach it, and you climb up there, and it's very primitive. These people are they're dirt poor, but very happy people, very interesting. And we had a chance we saw the posts where a tabernacle may have been established, it would seem. There's also carvings there by the Knights Templar, so they also had a great interest in this area in a more recent time. But this is the vault they let us get into, where they brought out some of the tools which they maintain were from that early era. That's Bob Cornuke examining some of them. And in their Bible, they have stories and illustrations of Mary and Joseph and the baby visiting Tanakerkus Island while they were down in Egypt fleeing Herod. I think that's kind of interesting. And this is the key monk there. When the Discovery Channel wanted to get on that island, they had to get Bob Cornuke to get them on, because the monks won't not normally let anyone on that island. But anyway, it was there for 8 centuries before it then moved to its present location in Aksum. And so it is there, presumably going to stay there until they can present what they have to the Messiah when he rules at Jerusalem. And this is the compound that is known as the St. Mary's Church of Zion. It resembles a military compound. It's incredibly well guarded. It is my understanding that it goes down at least 7 levels, and there are tunnels all the way to the Red Sea. So it's a part of an underground defensive arrangement. They've been guarding it for 2,400 years, day and night. And once a year at Timkat, they bring out not the ark, they bring out a ceremonial replica, which it purports to be like the 10 Commandments thing. It's just a ceremonial thing. There's a guardian that never leaves that spot from the time he's assigned to be guardian until he dies. There's a young boy that's assigned to him. If you're a woman that has barren and you pray for a child and the Lord brings you a child, that boy, that belongs to the church. And so he goes into a special school of boys of that kind, sort of like choir boy kinds of things. They assist in various ways. But the choicest of them gets assigned to the guardian, and he stays with the guardian day and night. When the guardian dies, he takes his place. And he will stay there until he's replaced. They've had this unbroken succession for 2,400 years of someone staying with the Ark of the Covenant that's in there, apparently. And so, but once a year, they celebrate all this by taking out just a replica for ceremonial purposes at Timcat, and they marched down to the riverside. Now, what's interesting, I want you to picture this. Picture yourself standing on a hill, surrounded by people dressed in white, Ethiopians, dirt poor, but very happy, singing in the Spirit round the clock for 2 days prior and round the clock 2 days during Timcat. These are Levites celebrating the baptism of Christ. Can you get that? Levites but this whole ceremony is intended to symbolize going down to the riverside where they do a bunch of readings and stuff and come back. It's supposed to represent Christ's baptism in the Jordan. And they're just spontaneous singing, dancing, round the clock, 2 days prior, 2 days during Timcat. And it's really quite an experience. And I could go on, but that's basically the perspective.